Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It Paint It. In this video, I want to tell you a secret. Now guys, I would like to start with a disclaimer because this is brand new information. It's not been tried and tested thoroughly or anything like that. So I want to warn you, this may change in the future, but as of today, this is the current plan. Now hopefully you guys are already subscribed and watching the channel and you're aware that Watch It Paint It are now part of the Army Painters paint development team, working with some other content creators to try and make their new speed paint range the best they possibly can make it for their customers, including myself because I am one of their customers. Now being part of the PDT does mean we're privy to some information, a little bit of chat back and forth with both the Army Painter company and the laboratories that they're using and the other content creators involved. And with that information, I want to talk to you about the reactivation issue, which is a big topic of conversation to do with speed paint. And if you are unfamiliar with it for some reason, I'll quickly explain it in this video, but there's essentially two sides of the fence. There's a bunch of people who cannot use speed paints because of the reactivation issue. And there's also a bunch of people who don't see it as an issue and it's just a property of the paint. It sets speed paints away from other sort of instant contrast based paints and it gives it different properties to the rest. Now if you're unfamiliar with the reactivation issue, that is basically as you apply the speed paint and it thoroughly dries, you can wait for I think an indefinite amount of time, it makes no difference. If you then get that paint wet going forwards, it will reactivate. That paint will either turn back on and start spreading around or just bleed through any other further layers you might like to build up on top of it. Now that could be a huge problem. Certain people paint in that way and build up many layers and that's a huge issue. Other people don't paint in that way, are much more careful. That's probably a bit rude to some people, but maybe don't get paint where they don't need to and don't have to paint over the top of it. And others might use it for more wet blending purposes, reactivating with dry brushing on top and blending those colours together. So you can see how one group of people it's a massive issue, another group of people it's actually just a property. I myself am more on the it's a property fence. I painted a whole bunch of miniatures me using speed paint for over a year. It has affected me once and it was very annoying, don't get me wrong. I got some red paint where I didn't want it and I had to paint about 15 layers of white to cover that up. Had I known about the reactivation issue, I didn't even know it was a thing then, just a damp cloth probably could have wiped it off. But other than that, I actually use it to my advantage. I use it for blending and as well as I don't mind if the colours mix together a little bit. I think it gives it a nice transition in a lot of places. Anyway, that's enough about the reactivation issue. Hopefully you're already well aware of that. So what is changing going forwards? That's what we want to know. So that's what I'm definitely going to tell you now, not waste any more of your time. So the Army Painter's working on a brand new formula. They've just sort of, what's the word? What is the fucking word? So the Army Painter's working on a brand new formula. It's actually different to the ones we've been testing currently to do with the new speed paint range. They just finalised this version in the laboratories where they're working and that's on its way to us now. This formula is going to have a stronger, harder resin and what the intention is here, you're going to have a window of about 1 to 2 hours where it's not cured and it will still reactivate. That's hopefully giving anyone who sees it as a property and has got used to using it and benefiting them in the paint cycles that they do, still has that window to use it as a reactivating paint. After those 2 hours, give or take, and again, this has not been tried or tested thoroughly and each paint's going to be different. Each colour bleeds differently. Some of them I can't get to reactivate at all. Red is crazy easy. So that needs some work through, but essentially after a few hours, it's going to go fully hard, fully cured, and it's near impossible to reactivate. Don't quote me on near impossible, but it's going to be very strong. And you're not going to see the reactivation like we're quite used to. So guys, that is essentially it. A brand new formula is being made and I was very excited about this. Hopefully some of you are. It hopefully does both sides of the fence. If you like the reactivation, you've got a couple of hours to work with it. If you dislike it, let it harden and it shouldn't reactivate again. Now guys, again, we're all part of this paint development team. That's why I wanted to give you this information. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Which side of the fence are you on? For one, we need to work out that. That is a question that we need to find out the answer to. Do more people like the reactivation or dislike the reactivation? And then on top of that, is this the perfect halfway house between them? If you dislike it, is waiting 1 to 2 hours acceptable? And if you like the reactivation, is that 1 to 2 hour window going to be acceptable? Obviously, guys, stay tuned. These paints are on their way to us and we will be testing this hard. So stay tuned for that and we'll see if it actually works as well as if it's what we want. Thank you all ever so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. to get some feedback and see what they would actually. We all opinions and feedback on it. I'm wearing glasses. Why do I keep wearing glasses? Freaking light reflects off them. It's really hard to see.